Alright, how's everybody doing today? I've got Wi-Fi battle for you, and this time I decided to dabble and see how I would fare in the UU tier. So there's the matchup, and this is against a guy who has elected to go by Asian, because I didn't really want to post this with his actual name, because the end result wasn't too satisfying, so I just kind of let him be anonymous. Leading off with this Mesprit that I have on this team, it's got a trick scarf, and I decided to do it to that jump left, because I know every one of those things I've seen likes to sleep powder and then likes to subseed. And so basically giving it a scarf really ruins that strategy because there's nothing really he can do that's useful anymore. I decide to stay in because I know he's got to switch jump left, and then this Hitmonlee comes in. I was kind of afraid of a substitute bulk up, but on the other hand, I really figured Mesprit, even without leftovers, can tank anything he's got. So I stay in, and I decide to obviously Psychic to break his substitute. And now I'm going to want to Stealth Rock because those things like to carry Sucker Punch, and I didn't want to just give him a free chance to, Sucker Punch me or switch in something Dark type like this or Spiritomb. So Mesprit's definitely going to not really want to stay in too long, especially after I can't Thunder Wave him, because this UU team that I've made, I put a lot of thought into it, but one of the real flaws it's got is dealing with poison types, particularly Wheezing, and that's why Mesprit is on this team. So I actually risked keeping him in on that Houndoom. That was kind of stupid now that I look back at it, but luckily he subbed instead of killing me. And yeah, so he's going out of there, and he doesn't have anything to hurt it anyway. So this Walrein is like the center of my team. It's what I made it around. And the goal of this Walrein is to lock something in to a move and then bring in one of my sweepers to set up on it, because both my sweepers have got immunities. So then he's locked on to a move. I was hoping he would Nasty Plot, but instead he locks himself onto that Dark Pulse, so I've got a guy to resist it, and Hitmontop's got good special defense. So now I'm just going to leave him in there. I don't want a close combat because that would give him a very easy free switch into something flying type, and it would lower my defenses before hitting him because it would just break the sub. So I'm going for Stone Edge right now, even though you can't see it because I flinch, because it works on Houndoom anyway. And he elects to switch out right now into like the perfect thing for this. This is exactly what I was hoping for. Right into this jump fluff, and he just eats a Stone Edge, which thankfully doesn't miss, and that takes him down without any more trouble because he could have used Sleep Powder again, and that would have been really annoying because I already had to fight through it once with that Mesprit. So down that goes. I'm out to an early lead now. I've got Stealth Rock. He doesn't have Stealth Rock, and I know he's got a Fire type that's going to want to keep switching in, so that's going to help me wear it down eventually. Now, this Arbok comes in. I haven't fought Arbok much. I know they like to carry status like Toxic, Glare, but I was really hoping he'd go for some kind of physical move that Mesprit would resist or be immune to. Unfortunately, he is one of those bulky status Arboks. So Mesprit's now paralyzed, and I would try to trick that Arbok to take his item for leftovers, but he's got Black Sludge, so that would hurt Mesprit, so that's useless. Instead, I elect to Thunder Wave, figuring I haven't seen a ground type. If Arbok wants to take the Thunder Wave, that's fine. If Houndoom, which is the likely choice, wants to come in and take the Thunder Wave, that's even better. So now I'm going to get out of there, because again, I need Mesprit to deal with poison types. I'm going to go back into Walrein, hoping that he would do something like Substitute, which now, because I'm faster, if I choose to Encore, which I do, he'd be stuck on Substitute, meaning I'd be free to do whatever the hell I wanted while he attempts to set up more substitutes. Instead, he sends out this thing, and Encore is useless. And I was thinking, this thing is bulky enough to take a Brick Break, and if this thing wants to substitute like everything else in his team wants to, then that'll be a great move to Encore. So that's what I try to do. Unfortunately, he does something I really didn't see that coming. I did not think he would have two Sleep Inducers on his team, but since his team is largely based around setup with substitute and stuff, a lot like mine is actually, now I can see that I probably should have seen that coming. But I've got a great physical wall right here in Leafeon. It's really on this team to help me with stuff like Azumarill and Sceptile. And because, like I said, I actually did put a lot of thought into this team before I and tested it before I started using it in a recorded match. And because of his bulk, he eats a life-orbed Ice Punch from that Poliwrath. That's the advantage of this thing with its physical defense. Unfortunately, it has no special defense, and even with a Wish hanging in the air, there is absolutely no way I'm leaving this thing in on Houndoom. That would just be stupid. He could have a Feraligatr or a Quagsire or something, and no, that'd be very dumb. But now that I've got a Wish in the air, I know that anything he wants to do will not kill Hitmontop, and I'll just get a Witchback. And now this next sequence is basically like a little struggle. It's my Hitmontop and my Mesprit versus his Arbok and his Houndoom. His Houndoom is deathly afraid of my Hitmontop. His Arbok is deathly afraid of my Mesprit, but my Mesprit is afraid of his Houndoom, and my Hitmontop doesn't really want to stay in on his Arbok. So eventually, I bring Hitmontop. We're just switching back and forth between those two, and Stealth Rock's wearing down Houndoom. Finally, I hit it with a Stone Edge as it comes back in. So that ends that, and now it's going to take a few seconds because of flinches and paralyzes and stuff, but eventually I win this fight with both my guys intact, but Mesprit barely hangs on. So there goes that little stall part. That was sped up, and that was good because now I've got a big advantage. He's down 3 guys. I think I've still got all 6, but this guy's basically death fodder. I'm just going to leave him in, go for a Psychic. Here's another poison type that really kind of frustrates me sometimes, but thankfully it's not Wheezing. If he had Wheezing, then I'd really be in trouble if Mesprit was down like that. And I completely forget about Sludge Bomb. Most Venusaurs I see will carry something like, because he's got a setup team. I expected like Sleep Powder, Leech Seed, I don't know, Toxic or Substitute, and then Energy Ball. But he's carrying 2 special attacks. That's unlike most Venusaurs that I've seen. So I send in Leafeon thinking, I'm just going to yawn whenever he switches in. He's not going to do anything to Leafeon. And I just get destroyed by that Sludge Bomb. And that was a very careless, that was not really careless. That was really more, I think, a good planning by his part. So now I've got that yawn just waiting to take that Venusaur. I thought he was going to switch, but even if he stays in, I wasn't fearing anything he could do to Mismagus, especially Status or Leech Seed. So now I've got a free sub up, and this is really the beginning of the end. He's got a pretty weakened team thanks to Stealth Rock and a sleeping Venusaur, which is his really only special wall. So I'm just going to get a couple Calm Minds up because I know these things like to Sucker Punch, and I can't think of another reason you'd send in Hitmonlee on a Mismagus with a sub up. So I go for it once while he's in, and then I'm thinking he's probably not going to do it again. So that's when I fire off a Shadow Ball, and luckily I do. And those few moves right there, the game's basically over. I've got a Mismagus in here. It's faster than everything on its team. It's +2 special attack. It's +2 special defense. I'm basically on cruise control, and nothing he has can even like break this up because his Venusaur is asleep. Even if it wasn't, there's nothing it could do with Sludge Bomb and Energy Ball when I'm +2 special defense. So it's kind of a boring way to end my very first UU battle, but nonetheless, it does show the strategy with this team and the what's the word I'm looking for? Synergy. So this is the very end. His Venusaur is just going to succumb to Shadow Balls because as good special defenses as it has, it really can't stand up to this +2. Plus, I've got a substitute. So that was a good game. Normally, I don't really want to post a 4-0 like this. I like to post closer battles, but I wanted to premiere like a little UU thing and my new quality stuff. Which, how do you like it, by the way? Tell me how you like that. And that's about it. So that was a good game, and I'm done.